You're watching Round Roanoke, your source for what's happening in the Valley. I'm your host, Alicia Starkey. The holiday season is just around the corner, and aside from all the hustle and bustle associated with this time, there are plenty of fun, family-friendly events happening right here in the Star City. The History Museum of Western Virginia will be hosting 3 events throughout the month of December as part of their Fantasyland series, and it's sure to be a jolly good time. Here to share more about Fantasyland are Kim Clymer, Director of the History Museum of Western Virginia, and the one and only Santa Claus. Thank you both for being here today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Kim, we'll start with you. Tell us a little bit about the History Museum of Western Virginia.
The History Museum is located on the 3rd floor of Center in the Square. We just reopened back in May of this year with new exhibits.
Okay.
Right now we have our permanent exhibit, which is the Crossroads of History, and we currently also have a traveling exhibit from the Virginia Historical Society called An American Turning Point, the Civil War in Virginia.
Okay.
So we're excited about both of those.
Absolutely.
So.
Great things happening at the History Museum. So Santa, let's talk a little bit about Fantasyland. I understand that you've been involved in this particular event for quite some time. So do you mind sharing some history, some background information for us?
Oh, sure. It was 19 years ago.
Okay.
I was actually at a mall for my first Christmas, and somebody suggested I do. I wasn't my idea. They said, well, you've got a white beard, why don't you go and do Santa Claus? So I tried that, and it really didn't suit me. I didn't have much time with the children. It wasn't about the kinds of things that I really wanted to promote. I mean, not that commercialism is a bad thing, it's just that that's not where my heart was. So the next year I was invited by the director at that time and his wife to come, and they said they needed a Santa for Fantasyland. So they invited me, and I said, yes, I'll do it, but here's how I want to do it. And so I started right off the bat using my skills and talents, which I'm a musician, professional musician at that time, trained in music and social worker and so forth. So I said, I want to have stories and music and, you know, really get to know the kids and them to get to know me. So I developed the character along the way, and it grew and grew and grew, and now I have mothers bringing their children who used to come see me when they were little.
Right.
So that's how long it's been.
Sounds like a very interactive event.
It is.
Good. So tell us a little bit more about the location of Fantasyland. When does it begin? Is there a cost associated with Fantasyland?
You want to talk about that?
Sure. It is located in the History Museum in our library on the 3rd floor of Center in the Square.
Okay.
It begins the day after Thanksgiving, so November 29th, and runs until Saturday, the December 21st.
Okay.
And there is a cost. It's $6 for adults, $4 for children 3 to 17, and $2 for 0 to 3-year-olds.
Okay.
Some of the profits will go to the Ronald McDonald House Charities, Southwest Virginia,
Okay.
this year. So every year we try to pick a charity that we give back to.
Okay. Perfect. So in addition to Fantasyland, you have some newer events that have been added to this series, Santa Sing-Along and then Yuletide. Can you briefly share a little bit about each of those?
Well, the sing-along is really geared toward the younger children who might not be able to follow through a whole story.
Okay.
Like I do with the older kids. I get into, I've written 2 books and I'm working on a 3rd one now. And each of these stories tells about values.
Right.
And
right.
teaches values through the old, jolly old elf.
Okay.
But the younger kids really are more into just being with Santa and having fun. And so we developed last year a sing-along. So they could just come in, the families don't have to worry about whether they're crying through the story or not, which they invariably will. And so we have a lot of fun just aimed at that age group.
Okay, great. Now real quickly, we only have a few seconds left.
Yulefest.
Absolutely. Can you, okay, do you want to show us?
I have in my second book called Holly, which is about Rudolph's sister, I feature the band called the Figgy Pudding Band,
Okay.
of course. And this is a real band. It's during the October season, it's called the Sauerkraut Band. And some people may know of the Sauerkraut Band from our 25 years of performing Oktoberfest at Mountain Lake over the years. And so the Sauerkraut Band transforms into the Figgy Pudding Band.
Okay.
And it's in the story, tells all about it and how it became to be a part of the Holly story. Okay. And so the Figgy Pudding Band will be present at the Yule Fest.
Okay.
We'll do a concert. I'll play the drums, which is my instrument. And we'll have a few stories, and we'll have the desserts and so forth, and have a party.
Well,
basically,
great.
it's my send-off. It'll be my last day, the 22nd of December.
Okay.
On a Sunday afternoon from 2 to 4.
Oh, great. Great events happening with the History Museum. So we're out of time, so I want to thank you so much, Santa. I know your schedule is busy. Thanks for stopping by.
You're welcome.
Kim, you as well.
Thank you.
You can find out more information about Fantasyland and other events happening in the Roanoke Valley on the community calendar coming up at the break. I'm Alicia Starkey, and you're watching Round Roanoke on Cox 9. Thanks for tuning in.